You go to fasten a necklace, or you tip your head back to laugh at something, and there it is. That little softness under your chin, that fullness along the jaw where there used to be a clean line. You press it with 2 fingers, and it gives, and you already know it was not there 10 years ago. You felt it long before any photograph showed it to you, and nobody warned you. Nobody sat you down and said, here is what is happening, and here is what to do about it. You found it on your own, in the wrong picture, the one where your grandbaby caught you mid-laugh, and you thought, Lord, when did that happen to my face? Let me give you the kind truth first, and then the hard one. The kind truth is that you are not falling apart, and at 7 in the morning, in a hard light, the mirror makes all of it look like more than it is. The hard one is that most of what you are feeling under that jaw is not even fat, it is water. And the way to move it is so old and so cheap that the women who kept it never gave it a name you would recognize, and it takes about as long as your coffee takes to brew. I learned it from a woman named Grace. Before I retired, I worked alongside her, a Chinese woman, quiet, older than me by a good stretch, with hands that had plainly worked hard their whole life. And Grace had a jaw at 70 that made no sense to me, clean, lifted, no give to it at all. I told myself some women are just lucky and left it there, the way we do. Then one slow afternoon I watched her take a little flat green stone out of her bag and run it up along her neck and under her jaw, slow, over and over, while she waited on the kettle. I asked her what on earth she was doing. She smiled and told me her mother did it, and her mother before that. And then she looked right at my chin, kind, not unkind, and said, you hold your water right there, and you never move it along. That one sentence sat with me for 20 years. What Grace was doing has a name, and it is having a whole moment now on the young girls' phones sold to them with a $40 stone. It is called gua sha. It comes out of traditional Chinese medicine, older than anybody can properly count, the same way our own pressing and greasing goes back further than any label on any jar. The word just means to scrape. On the body it is a firmer, rougher thing. On the face it is gentle, and gentle is the whole point of it, and that is the version I am handing you. I am not going to sell you a dream, so let me draw the line before I say another word. This is not a facelift. The stone will not melt fat off your chin, and if some girl online swears a little rock dissolves the fat clean away in a week, turn her off. She is telling you a story. If the fullness under your chin is mostly weight, the stone alone will not lift it, and losing weight is its own separate road. What the stone does is move fluid. Most of that heaviness under an older jaw is water that has pooled and settled, the drainage gone slow, the way it does with the years. The scrape walks that water down and out. Do it morning after morning, and the muscle and the tissue under the jaw firm up along with it, and the whole line reads tighter. And I am not asking you to take only my word. A woman I know started this the spring her granddaughter was getting married, wanting to look right in the pictures, and by the wedding she swore the soft line under her jaw had come back up. There is a bit of real study behind it too now, the contour pulling in, the muscle underneath getting firmer, small and real. It will not turn back the clock, but it hands you back the jaw you had a few years ago, and it costs you next to nothing. Which is worth sitting with because of what they will charge you for that same chin. There is a shot for this now. They numb you and run a row of little needles right under the jaw, and the stuff inside them dissolves the fat. It is real. It is approved. I am not going to tell you it does not work. I am going to tell you the number. One round runs around $1,600, and here is the part they say quietly. Almost nobody is done in one round. 2, 3, 4 rounds, spaced over months, and that chin has cost you $3, $4, $5,000 with a puffy, bruised neck for a week after each visit. That is just the needle. The surgery, the neck lift is thousands on top. And above all of it, the whole lit-up counter of firming creams and sculpting tools and little jaw gadgets, most of it marked up 10 and 20 times over what it truly is, sold to women our exact age, standing at the same mirror you stood at this morning. I am not telling you that to work you up. There was no meeting, nobody schemed this. It is arithmetic, and the arithmetic is cold. A needle under the chin pays for an office and a receptionist and an advertisement on the afternoon shows. A woman running a spoon down her own neck pays for none of that. So nobody with a budget ever had a reason to teach it to you. The dear thing gets a spokeswoman. Grace's little stone never made it onto a shelf. It is sadder than a conspiracy, because at least a conspiracy would mean somebody still remembered the old way was there. And I will be as straight about the old wives' tales as I am about that counter, because I am not one of these women who tells you everything from the kitchen is gold and everything from the store is poison. That is a lie too, and you can smell it. So, the chin straps, those bands you cinch around your head at night like a cartoon toothache, they melt nothing. Keep your money. Chewing gum by the hour to firm the jaw, I have heard women swear by it, and all it firms is a sore joint and a headache. And the mistake even the careful women make, the one I need you to hear before you ever touch that stone, is going at it too hard. We get it in our heads that if a little helps, then bearing down helps more, on thin, older skin that is exactly backward. Press too hard and you firm nothing. You break the little vessels under the skin and bruise yourself, and now you look worse than the day you started. A light hand is all the art there is to it. So here is the way of it, the way Grace showed me. You need a stone, jade or rose quartz, a few dollars up to maybe 15 in any beauty aisle now. And if you do not want to spend the dollars, hear me. The curved back of a cold metal spoon out of your own drawer does the very same work. First thing, never on dry skin. Drag anything across this thin skin dry, and you tug it and stretch it, which is exactly how you earn the lines you are trying to smooth. Wash your face, then lay a slip over it, a few drops of any facial oil or a good moisturizer, enough that the stone glides and never grabs. A spritz of water under the oil if you like it. Now the part nearly everyone gets backward, so do not rush past it. You start at the neck, not the chin. The face drains down into the neck, and if you scrape the jaw while the neck below it is still closed, all you are doing is pushing water into a stopped-up sink. So you open the neck first. Tilt your head, lay the stone flat to the skin, flat, never the edge, and draw it down the side of the neck from just under the ear toward the collarbone. Easy and slow, 5 or 6 passes, then the other side. You are walking the water down to where the body carries it off. Then the jaw, and only then. One finger on the point of your chin to hold the skin steady, the stone laid flat at the chin, and glide it back along the bone, out to the earlobe, then off the ear and down that neck you just opened. Chin to ear, down the neck, 5 or 6 times each side, light enough that it never once hurts. And just under each ear, and where the neck meets the collarbone, press and give a little wiggle before you move on, because those are the spots where the fluid actually empties out, so you want them open. Do not hurry any of it, either. Going fast is just another way of dragging the skin, and slow is what lets it drain. Grace moved that stone like she had all the time in the world, and she did, because the two sides together come to about 60 seconds. Do it in the morning when the water has pooled overnight and you are at your puffiest, because that is when you will watch the most of it come off. and you will see that first part the very first morning in the mirror within the hour, the puffiness down and the line coming back. The deeper firming, the change that stays put, that is weeks away, weeks of doing it and not giving up. Hold that, because quitting is exactly where nearly every woman loses this. Give it a good 6 weeks before you judge it. Not a few days of side-eyeing the mirror and calling it a bust, but the whole stretch, 60 seconds every morning, and then you tell me, here is what the stone is actually doing under there. You have a whole web of little channels under the skin that carry off waste and extra fluid, and with the years they run slower, and the fluid settles into the lowest places, and there is no lower place on the whole face than right under the jaw, so it pools there and it sits. The scrape opens the channel and moves it, walks it down the neck to where it drains away, and the muscle underneath, worked gently every morning, firms the way anything firms when hands tend it. My grandmother would have put it plainer than any of that. Your face is a piece of land, she would say, and the fluid is rainwater, and rainwater runs downhill and pools in the low ground. Under your chin is the low ground. When the little ditch that drains it chokes up, the water just sits and the ground goes soft and swampy. All that stone is doing is clearing the ditch every morning before the water can settle. Clear the ditch, the low ground drains. You understood that before I said a word of it. And now the bigger half, the half no company will ever put in an advertisement because there is nothing in it to ring up. The stone by itself will not carry you. 60 seconds of scraping is one small habit, and it only pays off sitting inside the whole way you tend this jaw and this neck. So here is that keeping, because this is what actually holds a jaw together at 65. It starts with the thing I told you to hold on to, which is simply not quitting. I have watched women take this up, do it 3 mornings, not see their whole face made new by Thursday, and drop it, then turn around and swear it does not work. Baby, it works. It just works like watering a plant instead of flipping a switch. The women with the good jaw at 70 did not do it hard for a week. They did it light for a year and never made a fuss over it. It is 60 seconds. You can do it while the coffee drips and your eyes are barely open, and it is the not quitting that pays you. Then there is what is already on your plate and your pillow, because so much of that under chin fullness is only water, and water answers to salt. I think of my Aunt Ruby, who could set a Sunday ham on the table the whole church talked about, and who woke every Monday puffed to her ears and never once connected the two. A salty supper, and I do not have to tell you how we cook, shows up right under the jaw by morning. And drinking too little water, strange as it sounds, only makes the body clamp down and hoard what little it has. Watch it on yourself for a week, a salty night, and you meet a heavier jaw in the morning glass. A day you actually drank your water, and the line is cleaner. Your own face will teach you quicker than I can, so the plain old thing your doctor keeps after you about, the salt and the water, that is your jaw he is talking about too. And how you sleep matters more than you would think, and it catches people off guard. If you lie flat, or face down with your cheek mashed into the pillow, the fluid pools in your face all night with nowhere to run, and you wake up swollen and blame the years. Prop your head up a little on the pillow and let gravity drain you while you rest, and sleep on satin while you are there. The same satin that is kind to your hair is far kinder to the skin of your face than cotton dragging on it for 8 hours, then the neck, and Lord, this is the one every last one of us skips, and after not quitting it is the one that matters most. I sat behind a woman at church for years, Miss Cleota, who had the prettiest face you ever saw, and a neck she clearly never laid a finger on, and you could watch the years gather right there under her jaw, while her cheeks stayed smooth as a girl's. Her face was doing fine. The neck under it was the story. We all do it. We do the face, the creams, the oils, and we stop dead at the jawline like the neck belongs to some other woman. Then we wonder why it goes creepy and loose and drags the whole lower face down with it. You can win the jaw and lose the whole look to a neglected neck. So everything you put on your face, carry it on down the neck and onto the chest every time, and give the neck a few of those downward strokes with the stone while you are there. The neck ages faster than the face for the plain reason that we ignore it. And last, your own head, how you hold it all day. All this looking down at the phone, the tablet, the little screen in your lap, folds the front of the neck over and over and presses that crease under the chin deeper in. So lift your head, bring the phone up to your face instead of dropping your face down to meet it. Carry your head into a room the way your grandmother carried hers, up and level, and you take that fold right back out. Neurful, two more small old things, since they cost you nothing. Keep a couple of metal spoons in the freezer overnight, and first thing in the morning press the cold curved backs of them along your jaw and up under your chin for a few seconds. The cold tightens the skin and knocks the overnight puff down before you have even started. On the mornings you wake really swollen from a cry, a salty night, a poor sleep, that is exactly when the cold spoon and the scrape together earn their keep, because puffiness is the very thing they are built to move. And on a morning you cannot lay hands on your stone, those same cold spoons will do the scrape itself, back of the spoon, down the neck, along the jaw, same motion and same result. Before you pick that stone up, though, a few ways to hurt yourself with it, and I would rather be the one to tell you. Gentle, always. I will say it one more time because it matters more than anything else here. A light hand, and always some slip on the skin so the stone glides and never drags. If little red threads come up and stay, broken vessels, you went too hard, back all the way off. Never scrape over a mole or a raised place or broken skin. Go around it and wash your stone. It is on your face every single day. And there is a place where none of this belongs anymore, where you set the stone down and go get seen by a real doctor, one who will actually sit and listen to a black woman instead of hurrying her out the door, because we have all met the other kind. A lump under the jaw or in the neck that is firm and does not move is not a puffy chin, and no stone on earth is for it. That is a doctor, and soon. A swelling that comes up sudden or sits on only one side, a doctor. Anything that grows or hurts or just feels wrong in your gut, you go, and you keep going until somebody looks at you properly. The stone is for the ordinary softening of getting older, and an honest woman tells you where that ends. So if you hold on to nothing else, hold on to this. A stone, or the cold back of a spoon from your drawer, clean face, then oil so it glides, never dry, down the neck first, both sides, flat and light, to open the drain, then the jaw, chin to ear and down the neck, 5 or 6 times a side, 60 seconds, every morning, while the coffee drips. And all around it the keeping, the salt and the water, the propped up pillow and the satin, the neck you finally stop skipping, and the head held up off that phone, 60 seconds, and the keeping, given weeks and not days. That is all of it, and there is nothing else to buy. I still think about Grace at that break table, 70 years old, that little green stone in her hand, doing the thing her mother did and her mother before that cost her nothing and that she never once thought to hide or be ashamed of. It was just hers. It was just what the women in her family did with their hands, and it struck me later how much we lost the very same way, all of us, our own mothers and grandmothers, with their plain handed down things, and somewhere inside a single lifetime the thread got cut, and we got marched off to the counter to buy back in a bright jar what used to just live in the family for free. This is one of those threads, you picking up a stone tomorrow morning, or a cold spoon, and giving it your 60 seconds. That is you tying it back. Before I let you go, tell me one thing down in the comments. Did anybody ever try to walk you toward that needle or that firming gadget on the shopping channel, and what talked you out of it, or what did not? I read them, and I think we all learned something from each other's near misses. And if your gut always told you the real fix could not truly cost $1,000 and a row of needles, that the true thing was probably small and old and already sitting in a drawer in your own kitchen, then you are one of us. Subscribe and keep company here, and I will keep bringing back the plain old things they stopped teaching us, the stone, the cold spoon, the 60 seconds that were always yours. Pull up a chair, there is more of it coming.